Heather here from 50 Shades of Mom. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Cook With Me. One of my great friends and viewer, Heather, had asked me a while back when I bought brioche bread from Trader Joe's to do a Cook With Me and make French toast out of it. So I made the whole video and edited everything and went to put it up and it's gone. I don't know where it is. So I promised her I would redo it again. I do not have that brioche bread, but I am using the challah bread that I get from BJ's. And actually, when I'm done making this French toast, I'm actually going to add turkey and ham and Swiss cheese to it and make Monte Cristos out of it. But for starters, let's just make French toast out of it, since that's what I promised Heather I would do. So this is what you're going to need. 5 eggs, 1 cup of milk, cinnamon, and vanilla. That's it. Really simple. And then whatever bread that you choose. So I'm going to put everything together, mix it up. I will put the exact measurements and ingredients in the drop box below. So I'm going to mix all of this up. I got my pan getting hot and the butter getting ready to melt, and we'll come back and get started. Okay guys, so our ingredients are all blended and my butter is melty and my pan is hot, so it's ready for me to add my bread. So while I do this, I just want to tell you guys a couple of suggestions. For starters, once all the ingredients are put together, I like to whisk or blend right before each piece, because the cinnamon has a habit of settling on the top. So I just like to re-blend each time just to kind of get it all mixed through. When I was blending, I thought of a couple of things. So my suggestion for you is to blend the eggs and the milk first and then add the cinnamon and the vanilla. Just because it gets the powder, kind of goes all over when you're blending it, so it's easier to whisk and whip up the eggs first. Love that sound. And the second suggestion would be, when you're using your measuring spoon to put the cinnamon and vanilla in, I recommend that you do all of your dry ingredients first, and that kind of goes for anything ever, just because you don't really get the proper measurement if you do your wet ingredients first, because then your dry ingredients stick to the measuring spoon and then you don't actually get the right amount that you're supposed to. So I guess it depends on the kind of pan you use, but I should be able to get 3 in this pan depending on the size. You kind of don't want to overload your pan. It brings the temperature down when you put something cool like an egg mixture into a pan that's already hot. So I always do my best to kind of not overload the best that I can, because then it doesn't really cook well. It takes a little bit to get back up to temperature. But I like to use a fork, especially when I cut for thick cut bread, because I never have to worry about using my fingers or anything, because once it gets a good soak, I literally can just pick it up with the fork and transfer it into the pan. Last time I did this in my last video, I made sure to time it, which I did get pretty precise depending on what you put your oven at. I have my stove range at just a tad bit over medium, so let me take a little bit of a smaller piece because I'm running out of room. So I guess it depends on everybody's stove, but I was able to do mine about 2 to 3 minutes per side. So I'm going to put this last one in the pan, and then we'll come back in a couple of minutes and we'll flip them over and we'll check on them. I always make sure to butter really well, because I don't like when any of my stuff sticks. And the second that it runs out of butter is when you start to notice that your French toast get too dark. So to get a nice golden brown, I usually make sure I don't leave them unattended. I stand here and I check them every couple of minutes, and I make sure between each batch I make sure to put another layer of butter in, so that it creates a nice brown crisp and you don't get like a really dark and ugly French toast. So let's come back in a couple of minutes and we'll flip them over and we'll see what they look like. Okay guys, so that's what 2 to 3 minutes looks like on this one side. Now if you're just doing French toast, you're going to want to make sure they're equally brown on each side. If you're going to stick with me and do the Monte Cristo portion of this, I always do one side just a tad bit lighter than the other, because once I add the cold cuts and the Swiss cheese, it goes back in the pan for everything to kind of get oozy and goozy and melty. So you want that lighter side to be on the outside so that you're not making a dark side even darker when you're putting it back in the pan. So just keep that in mind if you're just making French toast, or if you're sticking with me to do the Monte Cristos part. So this is it. This is the last of the pieces. So I'm going to get these out of the pan and into the plate, and we'll come back to the frying pan when we start assembling the Monte Cristos. Okay guys, so Mason is impatiently waiting for his French toast. So here is all of the little pieces that were left that I was just using for him for the French toast. Usually it's the ends, the pieces that I can't actually use for the Monte Cristo sandwich. And he's having watermelon on the side, and then on top of it is this syrup. So you guys know I'm from New York, and my husband's family is from upstate New York, like Plattsburgh area, very close to Canada. And this is a family-run business. My father-in-law's side of the family has been doing the stone maple products, and they do all sorts of things like syrup and maple cream and all these fabulous things. So we look really forward to when they come down here. They brought us the syrup when they came down a couple of weeks ago. We absolutely love it. And I have talked him into letting me help him sell some of the syrup to other people, because if you like real maple syrup, this is the best syrup I've ever had. I grew up on like Mrs. Butterworth's and Aunt Jemima out of a bottle, and then I had this and I've never gone back. So hopefully by the holiday season, our Etsy store will be up, and on Etsy we're going to feature all of these maple products, as well as some really awesome things that Marvin makes with raw materials like snowmen out of real cut wood and stuff. Some really awesome things. So hopefully that should be up around the holiday season time. But if anybody is interested in getting some of the syrup or getting their hands on it, just make a comment down below, and I'll make sure to get some of this out to you guys. I'm not really sure what they're going to do the prices for once, because it's shipping and all of that usually just is brought to me. So once we can figure out all the logistics, I've been more than happy to help kind of get this out to you guys. So make sure to let me know about that. And then that's it on the French toast. Now, if you guys are just interested in the French toast portion, you can stop here. For anybody who's interested in what this is going to look like when we turn this into Monte Cristos, stay tuned, because that's the next step. Okay guys, so before I get this out of the way, I just wanted to show you that there was like barely any of that egg mixture left. So that pretty much is the perfect proportion for that size loaf of bread. Obviously, if you're going to use different kind of bread and stuff, you'll have to play with it, but that 5 eggs to 1 cup of milk is literally perfect with very little waste. Alright, so for a Monte Cristo, you're going to need ham, turkey, and Swiss cheese, as well as your French toast. Now, it's up to you the kind of turkey and ham you want to use. I like to use the honey baked ham and the honey maple turkey, just because this is more on the sweet side, this particular dish. So I like to do that. But if you're more of a oven roasted, or if you like the cracked pepper turkey, this will really work for anything. I just have a habit of leaning towards the sweeter cold cuts, since we're doing more of a sweeter based dish. So let me get... Now each piece I'm going to check. See, now it's my darker piece. So that piece is going to go to the inside, okay? So we're going to put that piece inside, and we're going to put the lighter side down. Let's do that for the next piece too. I'll check. That's the darker side, so that's going to go in. All right. And then you obviously can do this as thick or as, thin as you want to. I usually put about 3 pieces of cold cut, each kind of cold cut, on each sandwich, especially since this isn't really a lunch, it's more of a dinner. So I do my best to make the sandwiches good and hearty. When I buy these pounds containers, we end up always having some extra cold cuts, but you know, we'll just use the rest of those for sandwiches throughout the week. But I do my best to just kind of make these good and thick, just because, like I said, it's more of a, it's your hearty meal. That's it for that one. And then you can do as many slices of cheese as you want to. I only do one slice of cheese, but you always can do more, but I always just do one. So let's do the other piece. And then I don't know how you feel about mayo, but I am a huge mayo lover. I've mentioned it in a bunch of my BJ's hauls when I buy my jumbo thing of mayo that I really love it. So I actually, again, staying with the sweeter side, I will take a teaspoon of that syrup and I mix it with mayo and I make a maple mayo. I actually love to dip my sweet potato fries in that as well, but that works really good for this. It's a great complement because it's sweet and it's the mayo part for the cold cuts, which just really complements well with the sandwich end of this. So if you are the kind of person who likes to dunk, which I'm a dunker. I mean, I like to put everything in anything. I dunk pizza and ranch, and you know, I like my french fries, like I said, in some kind of mayo or something. So I am always a dunker, and I found that that was a really good flavor profile to dunk this sandwich in. All right, so let's grab another piece. I'm going to search for that darker side. Again, that is the darker side, so that's going to go on the inside. Same thing with here. That's both. This is probably the darker side, so let's do that. And then I like to push them down, make sure they get a good crisp, and then I'm going to grab the spatula and let's flip it over. Come on, guys. There we go. He didn't want to cooperate, not at all. Alright, ready? Let's try and do this left-handed with skill. Perfect. I'm seeing it's almost already getting too dark for my liking, so I'm actually going to drop the temperature down in the pan because the assembly took too long and now it's already dark. I probably should have underdone it even more, just because, again, I said I like to do it where until it gets all melty. Okay guys, so this is the finished product. This is what I'm serving for dinner tonight. So I took, you guys saw, made the French toast, and we put all the cold cuts on. And make sure you just get it to the point. Obviously the French toast is already cooked, so you're just going to make sure that your sandwich is hot all the way through so that your cheese is melty. And I'm serving it with French fries tonight. And then this is what I told you that I made. I just took a couple of scoops of Hellmann's mayonnaise and then again used that syrup from my in-laws and just mixed it together and just made like a sweet dipping sauce. And that was it. I hope you guys like this cook with me, my 5th one yet so far. If you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed, my face will be right in the corner for you to tap on, or you can hit the red button down below. If you missed my last video, I will have that in the corner for you to hit as well. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.